It's a fantasy land where people go to find pleasure, get away from reality.
It's a place that kind of asks you to be free.
I've always liked to be where the big guys were, you know. Dylan Thomas used to hang out on this very route, and I'm sure, like, he threw up a couple, one too many rums or something off this roof.
So all the immortals of the 20th century at one time or another stayed at the Chelsea.
There are people here who really are the remnants of another time in New York.
I'm working on something. Hi, John.
How you doing?
I'm here. How you feeling?
Terrible, terrible. This is where I lived for 16 years. They tried to move all the residents to the first floor, because when the hotel opens, it's going to be very fancy and expensive.
The hotel needs to be finished.
Yes, we are in the 9th year. Stop! Hey!
When was this ever not okay?
Janis Joplin may have put a toothbrush in here.
There's energy in the building.
You know you'll never leave.
There's a lot of ghosts going on around here.
The spirits or the energy that is here, they don't want it finished.
They trying to find a way out, but they can't find it.
Are you looking for someone?
The Chelsea is kind of like a grand old tree that's been chopped down. The roots are deep, and there's life still coming from it.
Rage. Rage against the dying of the light.
We're not people, we are ghosts. Like as if you're in a dream.
Wait, so who's Amélie and who is Maya?
I'm Amélie.
Okay.
So I guess I am Maya.
Thanks for clarifying, Maya, because I was stuck. Yeah. So anyway, typically the name of the documentary is called Dreaming Walls.
Yeah.
Inside the Chelsea Hotel, which was, so there's a number of things I wanted to ask you about. One thing is like, I grew up in New York City. So, it's part of the landscape. I would walk by that hotel all the time. I actually was in there a number of times over the years. But I know that from my past European friends, like it just holds a certain mystique that maybe most Americans, the ones that are like even in New York, maybe take for granted, perhaps. But this hotel, right, and the mythology around it kind of really hold a strong pull to folks like yourself, right? Is that my imagination?
No, it's really true. Huh? It's very international and very known because there is so many iconic persons from all around the world. Like, there were like Klein, William Klein, Nikki Saint-Phal, Patti Smith, and Patti Smith, I guess, through her book, Just Kids, she portrays a little bit her life in the hotel. And, we knew about the hotel because of this book, Just Kids, that Maya gave it to me as a gift 10 years ago. And that's where we built our imaginary about the Chelsea somehow. And then we discovered, Leonard Cohen's songs and Janis Joplin, whom we love, so no, I think the people from our generation, they still really, they know about the Chelsea and they really like all the artist life that comes with it, but that's true that for the younger generation, when we talk about it, it's a bit unknown, it's a bit, they don't.
Yeah, because my fascination with these people that are also have been helped along by my European friends. I don't know, it's kind of interesting, like Warhol and the whole, like I remember reading the Warhol diaries just because a friend from Europe was visiting and he had a copy, and I'm like, oh, let me check that out, you know.
Yeah.
So and yeah, like you mentioned, Leonard Cohen has a song about it, right, about Janis Joplin and his and their affair they had, and you know, there's so much history, and now it's at this.
No,
Sorry.
I was saying, and also the poets, you know, that lived there, like also Allen Ginsberg, you know, all of these people.
Beats,
the beats,
right, of course.
So important, and even in Europe, you know, the beat generation are very big. So yeah, that's a lot of connection to the hotel.
Yeah, and now what I also found remarkable is you guys just happened to be in New York. Is that this true? And it came upon the hotel at this particular point in time when it's going under an enormous renovation and a renaissance in a way, for better for worse. Some might say for worse, in the sense that it seems like it's heading in a very, very different direction as a building and as a destination or what have you, right? So you wanted to tell that story.
Yeah, we like to remember that it wasn't planned at all to make a movie about the hotel, whereas a lot of other movies has been done and were really emphasizing and talking about the big names, and when we bumped into the hotel, we just felt that because it was that we just understood, meeting its resident, that there was really something to make now, and that the present time was very important for us to anchor the film in the present time with the present people living here, and it was really a meeting with those people who gave us envy to make a movie about the hotel, and not really the big names at the beginning.
Yeah, it was also the will to keep a trace of the existence of those people, you know, because as you said, it's okay, the hotel is going to reopen, but it's going to change because, you know, the amazing mixity that permit all the big names to emerge was really because there were so different kind of people coming to the hotel. And now, because also the rent was really low, and so you could have a room even as a young artist, you know, not knowing anybody, you could enter this place and meet those great people and exchange and discuss, and this is not going to be possible again. So as those people will be replaced by wealthy people, you know, we really wanted to make a movie to keep traces and archive their existence, you know. And since we made the movie, 2 people already died. So for us, for us, it was very important to do that.
Well, yeah, they are in a way channels. These people you're referring to have been living there a long time. They are in a way channels to the energy, as one of the residents says, that exists in the building there, that they kind of are the conduit, you know. And once they're gone, it's over.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a bit the story of New York, you know, this gentrification.
Well, yeah,
you might know, like this book Gentrification of the Mind, that written by Sarah Schulman, and she explains how the people were replaced in the 80s, you know, by people from the suburb who came and they didn't know about the mixity in the area, and so they felt like they deserved to be there. Like, she explained it very well how it started, and she really starts with this quote of Milan Kundera saying, like, how do you erase history? By replacing people with other people, you know. And it's so important to keep this building. Is so unique. It has built a century ago. People, even before it was built, they came there, or they used to say they were living there. The building was not even finished because it represented like a real refuge, a real enclave for all the bohemians, all the people who wanted to make it in New York, you know. And it's so sad in a way that this kind of place, you know, that still exists, but not in the same way, is there. And, you know, people are just, you know, building in with the mythology of it, but the mythology exists more in the head of the people who know the Chelsea, that in reality, you know, in reality it's all gone, I think.
Well, for me, this film, and don't take this as a criticism, because it's not, but for me, your film, which again is called Dreaming Walls Inside the Chelsea Hotel, and it's premiering in theaters and on demand on July 8th. It's in a way, for me personally, a little bit of a horror film, because I had to leave New York City. I mean, you know, the pandemic was kind of the last catalyst that kind of pushed me out. I will admit that, but I had been so depressed watching all of these wonderful New York City institutions disappearing. And I understand that's just the life of a city, or at least that's what people tell me. But I still think it's horrible. So I can't deny it's like erasing part of my own identity as somebody who grew up in a city like New York, where the idea of a no Chelsea hotel or a different Chelsea hotel, you can call it the Chelsea Hotel, you can call it that, but it doesn't mean it's really the Chelsea Hotel anymore, or at least my definition of what the Chelsea Hotel is, or yours, the two of you. But so again, telling people that are watching or listening that this film happens to be during this incredibly, this moment in time where the building is being renovated, and there is also a bit of a tension that exists between the people that support this change and those who dread it, right? There are some residents who are there who actually are for this new version of the Chelsea Hotel, right?
Yeah, it's complicated. We didn't want it to make the conflict too much present in the film.
I know.
It's so, there are people against for it, as you said, people fighting, together, and I understand that some people are really fed up of living with jackhammers and dust and craziness all around them, and especially the old ones. But in the same time, I understand the one that wants to keep and preserve the spirit of the Chelsea, and and don't want to go with the renovation. So it's all complicated. So that's why we wanted to make this kind of polyphonic films, to have the audience to see different perception, different ways of living the hotel, and get their own point of view about it, But it's true.
Yes, I do feel like there isn't some sort of. I mean, it's essentially, even though you're interviewing people there and watching, it's more or less a fly on the wall type of documentary, right? I don't know if it's verite, but it's
not really verite. We don't like this boundary between verite and film. For us, like a film is a film, and that's also why we wanted to have this kind of this look. The aesthetic is very cinematographic, because we wanted to keep this kind of look that is really like cinema, and we didn't want it to have like those interviews always, people sitting.
Right. Yeah. So you set up certain things. I understand.
Yeah, it's a bit of hybrid. I will say it's hybrid because
People, it's a lovely. It works very well. I that's why I really wanted to meet you guys, because I felt like like you were compadres or compatriots because of your love of it was clearly you guys love the building and have an emotional attachment to it yourselves. And so tell me, because I mean before I was talking to publicist about the Martin Scorsese, an executive producer, and he said, I mean, I have this assumption that now any documentary made in New York City, Martin Scorsese automatically becomes executive producer. He's very busy, but obviously I could see why this would be appealing. This story is appealing to him.
Yeah, I don't think it does that so much, because he's so busy, like I'm not sure, but I don't know exactly. So I will just tell the story about my part, because I knew him for a long time, when I came with my first feature film, I met him in the first time festival where I won the big prize, and like what the prize was like to spend time, like all the winners, let's say, were in the room with him and other great people. And
really,
that was the kind of.
What was the film?
The film was At First. It's my first feature film. I auto-produced it myself, and he really liked it, and so we kept in touch. And so he also EP my previous feature film, The Elephant and the Butterfly, that was in Tribeca. So it's like a long time relationship I have with him, and he's a bit like following my work. And for this film, I just sent it to him because when it was almost done, because I really respect him. And for me, it was so important to get his point of view as a real New Yorker,
Yeah.
So we sent the movie to him, and he was really touched by it. I think he truly loves it. And that's why he said to me, okay, I want to EP it, and tell me what you need. If you need a quote or anything, I will do it, because this film has to be seen. So we were really like amazed and very moved to see that we succeeded, you know, as European. We made a film that is true to a certain kind of spirit that, you know, for people who lived in New York for a long time. So we were very happy about that. And of course, to get his support is very important also for the life of the film. So I'm very honored always. And I hope this relationship will continue in the future. But yeah, so I think he really liked the film and felt something in the film that he recognized, let's say.
Sure. I think, you know, probably similar types of themes that I recognize too, you know, or yeah, as a New Yorker. Yeah. So am I, do you guys have a specific, how do you split up? Who's your co-directors of this documentary? Do you each have like a particular area that you have a strength in per se, or do you kind of just constantly work in tandem with each other? Do you finish each other's sentences, or do you kind of have your own sort of areas? How does that work? How does co-directing work?
Now, first of all, we are really good friends since a very, very long time. So it's all, first of all, a story of friendship, I guess, as a lot of stories happen in the Chelsea also. So
yeah, that's right.
It's a love story, let's say, you know. And no, we learned, we never worked together at the same level, let's say, or at the same role.
Right.
But I think we learned to work together. We don't have the same experience neither. First, I was more in documentary and Amélie in fiction, and Amélie has done 2 feature films, and this is my first one. So, so you know, there was things that we had to I don't know, to
sync.
Yeah.
All in sync. Yeah.
But also, I guess that we have some complementarities in our way of doing things and way of interacting with people, and so we found a way. But it was an adventure too to manage to create something together, and yeah, it was a process.
Yeah, it was a long journey, and it was not always easy as collaboration. I don't think any collaboration are easy, you know, but we were lucky to be together, because I mean the building is huge. There were so many people, and to manage all those encounters and
can't imagine. Yeah.
You know, we were lucky to be together and to have each other to go through this process.
Did you guys, because it played at Tribeca Film Festival also, did you guys have some of the folks from the hotel walk down the block to the
that was something it was
they probably didn't come to Berlin, is my guess.
No, some of them they came. Some of them came.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
No, I think they really liked the film. They support us, and for us, it was so important to have the screening. It was in the same area as the Chelsea again,
right?
You know, and
was it at the SVA or something? Or?
Yeah, SVA, yeah. And they were all there, and they were laughing. Like the choreographer, Mel, the dancer.
Yes. She's alive.
She was laughing at her own jokes all the time. You know, it was so funny the spirit was so great in the room. We felt very confident, and very lucky.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's wonderful. If it's embraced by these old New Yorkers, they think you guys all the way from Belgium were able to capture something very special about their experience. That's got to be very meaningful to you guys.
Yeah, a lot.
You know,
a lot,
to have
because we were always very respectful to them, and we really had a great encounter with each one of them. You know, it was really like a real relationship we built. So we are very happy that they recognize themselves in the film this way. You know, that this relationship is alive, and you can see that there was love coming and going, you know, in exchanging love.
And still today, we are really linked to them. We of course continue to write to them, and so it's a deep relationship.
It was not like all the people who came to the hotel to capture their stories, you know, like, okay, tell me what you know about the Chelsea hotel. You know, we really had another approach, which was much more, you know, spending time and getting to know them. And I think
building a trust and a relationship. Dreaming Walls inside the Chelsea Hotel, again distributed by Magnolia, which is a great relationship to have, in theaters and on demand July 8th, co-directed by Amílie Van Elmbt and Maya Duverdier.
Well, yes, that's well said. Yes,
Duverdier. I can be even more French, but it sounds pretentious if I speak it to it. So I try to give it a little bit of an American, you know, Amílie Van Elmbt.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's right.
And Maya Duverdier.
Yeah, that's
Well,
even better in English, I guess.
Merci bien, merci to you both. It's been my pleasure to meet you both, and let's stay in touch. And with the future projects, we'll do it again, I hope. And
Yeah, let's hope.
thank you for squeezing this in before your trip home.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
Okay. Have a safe travels.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.